Today I'm going to read you The Silver Sea. I'm reading it today because this book was written by my friend Janie Godwin and I and illustrated by children from the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne. And of course today is Good Friday, so the hospital is having their Good Friday appeal. Here are the end papers of the book. It's a school of fish, and if you look closely you can see that a lot of the fish have got names on them. And these are all the children that did illustrations in the book. Most of them were patients, but sometimes they were brothers and sisters who were staying in Melbourne while their siblings were in hospital. And here it says Francesca, and that's my granddaughter, Francesca, who was a little baby in ICU when we were making this book. So, hi Smooshy. It's dedicated to the kids at the Royal Children's Hospital, Melbourne, and the people who help and support them. This beautiful whale down here, squirting, was made by Bella, who was very ill at the time but is home again. So, hi Bella and hi Vani. Beautiful work. The Silver Sea, by children at the Royal Children's Hospital, Melbourne, with Alison Lester and Jane Godwin. Before I start reading the story, if it's okay, I'd like to tell you how we made these illustrations. Janie and I go to the hospital about once a month, so over the course of about a year we went in every month, and we always took new art supplies and a new technique. And we'd already written the story. I think it was probably inspired by the beautiful aquarium at the Royal Children's Hospital. So we made a little book for each of the teachers with the words of the story and a rough illustration of what we thought might be going on there. And then every month we'd sit with the teachers and the kids and we'd make animals that had to go on each page. Sometimes here they were the bush animals that lived near the sea. Usually the children came to the classroom, but occasionally if they couldn't come to the classroom we would go and work with them beside their beds. Unfortunately I gave them quite big pieces of paper to work on, so it meant when I came to do the backgrounds they had to be enormous. So the original of this page is about 2 metres wide. So I painted these big backgrounds, and I also drew the children who are in the story. We don't know if they're friends or brothers and sisters, and I did them on brown paper and drew them in blue so they would stand out from the rest of the illustrations. When we had it all gathered over about a year, the teachers had these big envelopes full of turtles and leafy sea dragons and whatnot. We came to my house and we chopped them all up with scissors and stuck them on, Janie and me and our editor Davina and my friend Marie, and this is how the book was made. So here we go. Let's go down to the Silver Sea. Come on, I'll hold your hand. We'll slip through the shadows of tea tree and ferns and race on the glimmering sand. The water is silky and warm on our skin as we dive through a shimmering wave, surfing and splashing with dolphins and seals, so strong, so speedy and brave. I'm sorry there's a little bit of background noise, but I thought it would be nice to read this story outside, because if you're stuck inside during this tough time, it's nice to see a bit of the outside. We drift with turtles away from the shore, our house a faint light through the trees. Should we turn back and be home safe in bed? No, tonight we're exploring the seas. Now we're swimming as surely as sharks. It feels like we're flying tonight. Leafy sea dragons tickle our toes. A moray eel gives us a fright. A forest of purple and aquamarine sways to and fro in the tide. An octopus wiggles a welcome, and parrotfish scatter and hide. There's the octopus wiggling a welcome. Down through the blue past hammerhead sharks where manta rays cruise on a cliff. Jellyfish lead us over the edge and into a secret abyss. Further we dive to the indigo deep, where translucent fish glow in the gloom. As we dodge the luminous monsters, we can see the faint gleam of the moon. It looks like quite a scary place to be. We kick for the surface, heading for home, the inky sea lightening fast. Shearwaters dive and leave bubbling trails as they chase after fish flashing past. We pass through a shadow, and when we look up, we see it's a wallowing whale. She's waiting for us, so we climb on her back, and as dawn lights the world, home we sail. We say goodbye to the silver sea and hello to the pale morning sky. We skip over treasures left by the tide and shout to the gulls swooping by. Because Francesca was a tiny baby, she couldn't do a picture, so one of the nurses took her footprint and we put her footprint on the sand so she could be part of the book. When we reach our home at the top of the hill, we sit back and look at the glow of the sun as it rises, lighting our world. While the sea hides the world down below. And that's the Silver Sea. Thanks for listening. And if you can, remember that it's the Good Friday appeal and do something to help the Royal Children's Hospital, which looks after so many children and so many families. Goodbye. Happy Easter.